The meeting room was silent. Ambassador Taiwan stood in the center of the giant hall. Around him sat representatives from 247 different species. Some looked like rocks that glowed. Others were huge creatures made of gas trapped in special suits. The Galactic Council met here on Vex Prime, a place where all species could talk in peace. Taiwan was an old man. His face had many scars from wars long ago. His hair was gray and his eyes looked tired, but when he spoke, everyone listened. He had come here with a warning that nobody wanted to hear. High Counselor Vrextal sat on the highest chair. He was a giant lizard covered in shiny scales. He had led this council for 300 years. He looked at humans like they were children. Humans had only been in space for 300 years. To him, that was nothing. Next to Taiwan stood Dr. Biora. She was a scientist who studied aliens and war. She carried a small computer that held all of human history. Every war, every battle, every terrible thing humans had done to each other. She was ready to show it all. Behind them stood Commander Mungday. He was the captain of humanity's biggest warship. He said nothing. He just stood there, his face hard like stone. His presence alone made some council members nervous. The problem was simple. The Krillian swarm had attacked human colonies. The Krillians were bug-like creatures. They were strong and mean. They had destroyed 3 human worlds. They killed everyone. Men, women, children. They ate them alive. Taiwan had asked the council for help, but Vrextal said no. He said humans were too new. They did not deserve protection under council law. He wanted to let the Krillians keep attacking. Taiwan raised his hand. The room became quiet. "I must warn you," he said. His voice was calm but firm. "If you allow this, you will not just be leaving us to die. You will be creating something much worse." Vrextal laughed. "You threaten us. You, whose entire species could fit on 1 Krillian world." "Not a threat," Taiwan said. "A warning. Let me show you what humans are." Dr. Biora pressed a button. Images appeared in the air above them. Pictures from Earth's history. Ancient humans fighting with sticks and stones. Then swords. Then guns. Then bombs. Pictures of cities on fire. Pictures of millions dead. Pictures of weapons that could destroy entire planets. "This is us," Taiwan said. "For thousands of years, we fought ourselves. We killed billions of our own kind. We invented weapons that could end all life on our world. And we almost used them." The council members looked at the images. Some seemed interested. Others looked bored. "The point," Taiwan continued, "is that we never stopped. We fought in snow and ice. We fought in burning deserts. We fought in jungles and oceans and mountains. We fought when we had no food. We fought when we had no hope. We fought because that is what we do." He paused and looked directly at Vrextal. "My species does not know how to quit. We do not understand surrender. If you let the Krillians kill us, we will hunt them. We will hunt them for years. For decades. For centuries. We will find every nest, every world, every egg, and we will destroy them all." The room was silent for a moment. Then Vrextal started laughing. Soon, other council members joined him. The sound echoed through the great hall. "Such big words," Vrextal said. "The Krillians number in the trillions. Your whole species is only a few billion. You would all die before you killed even 1% of them." Taiwan did not smile. He did not get angry. He just nodded slowly. "Perhaps, but we will try. And when we try, we do not stop." Commander Mungday stepped forward. He had been quiet until now. "We came here for justice," he said. His voice was deep and cold. "We came asking for help. You have chosen to give us none. Remember this moment. Remember that we warned you. When the screaming starts, remember that you chose this." The council voted. 189 species said no to helping humans. Only 58 said yes. It was decided. Humans would get no protection. The Krillians could keep attacking. The Krillian ambassador. A huge bug with sharp claws clicked his mouth parts together. It was the sound of satisfaction. The sound of victory. Tay-1 stood and bowed to the council. "Thank you for your time," he said politely. Then he turned and walked out. Dr. Biora and Commander Mungday followed him. As they walked down the long hallway to their ship, Dr. Biora asked quietly, "What now?" Tay-1 stopped walking. He looked out a window at the stars. "Now," he said, "we show them why Earth's greatest export has always been war." 6 months passed. During that time, humanity was quiet. Too quiet. The Council did not hear from them. The Krillians kept attacking human worlds. They destroyed 2 more colonies than it happened. A Krillian hive world went silent. No signals. No communications. Nothing. The Council sent scouts to investigate. What they found shocked them. The planet was dead. Its surface was burned. The air was poison. Every Krillian was gone. And there, burned into the ground in letters 100 kilometers long, it's a message. 1 down. 999 to Geo Humanity Council. Emergency meeting was called immediately. Rextall stood before them, his scales pale with shock. "This is impossible," he said. "One species cannot destroy an entire world in 6 months." But the proof was there. Humanity had started their war, and they had made their promise clear. They would not stop. They would never stop. They would hunt the Krillians across the entire galaxy if they had to. The Council finally understood. The warning had been real. Humanity was not like other species. They did not fight for territory or resources. They fought for revenge. And they were very, very good at it. The war had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. General Hanul stood on the bridge of her flagship. She was a woman in her 40s with cold eyes. She had fought pirates for 20 years. She knew how to win wars. But this was not about winning. This was about sending a message. "Target the next hive world," she ordered. Her voice was calm. Around her, officers worked at their stations. Nobody questioned her orders. They all knew what the Krillians had done. The war had been going for 2 years now. Humanity had destroyed 53 Krillian worlds. Not conquered. Destroyed. Every planet they touched became dead rock, floating in space. No prisoners. No mercy. No exceptions. On the ground, Lieutenant Jiwoo led his soldiers through a Krillian breeding world. His armor was covered in dirt and blood. He was young, only 25 years old. But his eyes looked old. They had seen too much death. "Keep moving," he told his team. They walked through tunnels filled with eggs. Millions of eggs. Each one would become a Krillian warrior. Each one would kill humans if given the chance. Jiwoo raised his flamethrower. "For New Soul," he said quietly. Then he pulled the trigger. Fire filled the tunnel. The eggs burned. The screaming of young Krillians filled the air. His soldiers did the same in other tunnels. They worked for hours, burning everything. "Is this right?" one young soldier asked. "They are just babies." Gikwu stopped. He turned to face the soldier. "The Krillians ate human babies," he said. "They ate them alive while their parents watched. These things," he pointed at the eggs, "will grow up to do the same. We end it here. We end it now." The soldier nodded and kept burning. Back on Earth, Dr. Wan worked in his laboratory. He was a scientist. Before the war, he studied alien life. He wanted to understand other species. Then the Krillians killed his family. Now he wanted to kill them. He had created something terrible. A virus. It attacked Krillian brains. It made them unable to move. Then it killed them slowly over many weeks. They would feel everything. They would suffer. "Is there a faster version?" A general asked him. "One that kills them quickly." Dr. Wan looked at him with empty eyes. "Yes, but I do not want fast. I want them to hurt. I want them to feel what my daughter felt when they ate her." The general said nothing. He approved the virus. The Galactic Council started receiving messages from Krillian worlds. Calls for help. Pleas for mercy. Rextal watched the recordings. Krillian mothers begging for their children's lives. Krillian warriors dying in agony from the virus. We must stop the humans, Rextal said. This has gone too far. Ambassador Taiwan appeared on the council screen. He looked older now, more tired, but his voice was still strong. You voted to let them kill us. Now you can vote to watch them die. We will not stop. We cannot stop. This is what you created when you abandoned us. But this is genocide, another council member said. You are killing an entire species. Yes, Taiwan said simply. Just like they tried to do to us. The difference is, we will succeed. Queen Mind Zilrath was the leader of all Krillians. She was huge, the size of a building. Her mind controlled billions of Krillian drones. She could feel each one dying. The pain was driving her insane. She tried to contact the humans. She offered them anything. Money, technology, territory. She would give them entire star systems if they would just stop. General Hanyul took the call personally. Your offer is rejected, she said. We do not negotiate with species we plan to make extinct. But why? Zilrath asked. Her voice was desperate. We can pay for what we did. We can give you anything. You can give us nothing, Hanul said. You took our children. You took our families. You took our worlds. There is no payment for that. There is only justice. And justice, for you, is death. The Krillians began to run. They abandoned their home worlds and fled into deep space. They hoped to hide, to survive, to rebuild someday, but humanity had planned for this. They released hunter-killer fleets, ships with no crews, only computers. Ships that had one job: find Krillians, kill Krillians. These ships could hunt for 100 years without stopping. The virus spread to the Krillian throne world, the biggest Krillian planet, home to 50 billion of them. Within a month, they were all dying. The virus worked slowly, just as Dr. Wan had designed. Queen Mind Zilrath felt her people dying one by one. Each death was a knife in her mind. She could not sleep, could not think, could only feel the pain. In her last moments, she sent one final message to the galaxy. We made a mistake. We thought humans were like other species. We thought they would fight for a while and then make peace. We were wrong. They are not warriors. They are not conquerors. They are something worse. They are death itself, shaped like a species. To anyone listening, if you attack humans, they will never stop hunting you. Never. Then she died. 50 billion Krillians died with her. Their world became silent, empty. Dead, the Galactic Council held an emergency meeting. Fear filled the chamber. They had watched humanity destroy an ancient species in just 3 years. Species that had existed for millions of years were now almost gone. Rextal stood before them. His hands shook. We must stop them. We must gather our armies and force them to stop. If we do not, who will they hunt next? Ambassador Taiwan entered the chamber. Behind him, a screen showed numbers. Krillian hive worlds remaining, 437, it said. As they watched, it changed to 436. You wish to stop us? Taiwan asked. Then gather your fleets. Come to our space. Try. But know this. We will fight you too if we must. And we will not stop until the Krillians are gone. All of them. Every last one. The council members looked at each other. Nobody spoke. They were all thinking the same thing. They had created this monster. They had forced humanity to become this. And now they had no idea how to stop it. 3 years had passed since the council vote. The Krillian swarm was dying. Less than 200 hive worlds remained. The council could not ignore this anymore. They had to act. Admiral Sungmin stood on the bridge of Earth's defense station. She was in charge of protecting the home world. She knew what was coming. The council was building the largest fleet in galactic history. 50,000 warships. Ships from 18 different species. They will come here, she told her officers. They will demand we stop. They will threaten us. And we must be ready to fight them if needed. Her second-in-command looked worried. Can we win against 50,000 ships? No, Seung-min said honestly. But we can make them pay a terrible price. And that might be enough to make them think twice. High Counselor Vrextal led the council fleet personally. He sat in the command chair of the flagship. Around him were commanders from dozens of species. They all agreed. Humanity had to be stopped. Next to Vrextal sat Counselor Eller. He was very old, even for his long-lived species. He had served on the council for 500 years. Unlike Vrextal, he felt afraid. He remembered Taewon's warning. He had believed it then. He still believed it now. We should talk first, Eller said. Fighting them will only make things worse. Talk is over, Vrextal said. They have committed genocide. They must face justice. The fleet arrived at human space. They sent a message. Surrender your war criminals for trial. Stop all attacks on the Krillians. Accept council control of your military. You have 1 day to decide. On Earth, the human government met. Some wanted to negotiate. Others wanted to fight. They argued for hours. Finally, Admiral Seung-min spoke. It does not matter what we choose, she said. If we surrender, the Krillians survive. That is unacceptable. If we fight, we might die. But the Krillians will still die. Our hunter-killer fleets will keep hunting. So we have only one real choice. She pressed a button. Across human space, thousands of hidden weapons came online. They had been built in secret, placed around every human world. Each one carried an antimatter bomb, enough to destroy entire fleets. This is the Genesis Protocol, Seung-min explained. If the Council attacks, these weapons will activate. They will destroy the Council fleet. They will also make our home system unlivable. We will all die. But so will they. And the Krillians will still be hunted to extinction. Ambassador Taewon broadcast the response to the Council fleet. He looked very old now. The war had aged him. But his voice was still strong. You can destroy us, he said. We know this. We have always known. But you cannot stop us without destroying yourselves. We will turn our home into a grave before we surrender. And when we are dead, our machines will continue. The Krillians will still die. Every last one. The only question is whether you join them in death. On the Council flagship, Vrextal turned pale. They are bluffing, he said. No species would commit suicide like this. Humans would, Eller said quietly. That is what we never understood. They mean what they say always. Eller opened a private channel to Taewon. They talked for hours, trying to find a solution. Some way to end this without everyone dying. What if we limit them? Eller suggested. Let you reduce the Krillians to one world. A small world. They survive, but they can never threaten anyone again. Taewon shook his head. Not enough. In 200 years, they will rebuild. They will spread again. They will kill again. My grandchildren will face them. I will not leave this problem for future generations. Then what will satisfy you? Eller asked, desperate. Bring us the Krillian queen mines, Taewon said. All of them. For trial. Let us judge them. Then maybe we can talk about the rest surviving. Eller took this back to the council. They refused. They said it was not justice. It was revenge. Then we have nothing to discuss, General Hanel said when she heard. Her fleets kept moving. More Krillian worlds died. On Earth, a journalist named Mi Soon had been covering the war. She had survived the New Seoul massacre. She saw her family eaten by Krillians. Now she showed the galaxy what happened at the trials. She broadcast footage of Krillian commanders watching videos. Videos of their warriors eating human children. The Krillians showed no emotion, no remorse. They did not understand why humans were upset. This is what the council wants to protect, Mi-soon said to the camera. These creatures do not feel sorry. They do not understand mercy. They only understand strength. and humanity will show them strength. Her broadcast changed public opinion across the galaxy. Many species started to understand. Some even supported humanity's war. Vrextal saw his support crumbling. He decided to act. "Attack the human positions," he ordered. "We will force them to surrender." But before his fleet could move, Eller revealed a secret. He had been talking to other council members. 47 of them had agreed with him. They broadcast a vote. A vote of no confidence in Vrextal. "You are removed from power," Eller announced. "This council will not start a war we cannot win. The fleet will withdraw." Vrextal stood in shock. "You are making a mistake," he said. "Humanity will become unstoppable." "They already are," Eller said sadly. "We made them this way. When we abandoned them, when we let them suffer, we created this." The fleet turned back. But the council was broken. 23 species withdrew their membership. They wanted nothing to do with what was happening. The council, once strong and united, was now weak and divided. Admiral Sungmin watched them leave. "We won," her officer said. "No," Sungmin said. "Nobody won. We just survived another day. And the Krillians keep dying." Far away, Captain Dae-jung commanded a hunter-killer fleet. He had been chasing Krillian refugees for 2 years. He received new orders. "Continue the hunt, but do it quietly. Take no credit. Let the galaxy think we stopped." He smiled coldly. Humanity would appear peaceful. They would seem to show mercy. But in the dark places of space, the hunting would continue. It would never stop. The counter on every human military display updated. Krillian hive worlds remaining. 73, it said. Then it changed to 72. 10 years had passed since the Council fleet withdrew. The official war was over. The Krillians had been reduced to scattered groups hiding in dark corners of space. But humanity never stopped hunting. Director Kung Su ran the office of Xenespeci's monitoring. It was a bland name for a deadly organization. His job was simple. Find every remaining Krillian. Track them. Wait. Then eliminate them when the time was right. He sat in his office looking at star maps. Red dots showed known Krillian locations. There were still thousands of them. Small groups, families, refugees, all trying to survive. "Patience," he said to himself. "We have all the time in the galaxy. They have nowhere to run." Agent Haewon had been undercover for 7 years. She pretended to work for a charity that helped refugees. She moved from station to station, world to world. She smiled. She helped aliens in need. And she reported every Krillian she found. On one station, she met a group of Krillians. They were peaceful now. They grew food. They traded with other species. They hurt nobody. But Haewon still reported them. The location was added to the list. She felt guilty sometimes. These Krillians seemed different. But then she remembered New Soul. She remembered the screaming. The guilt went away. Elder Survivor Crix was one of the last Krillian queen mines. She lived on a remote station in neutral space. She had forbidden her drones from violence. She believed the only way to survive was to change. To become something new, she sent a message to Ambassador Taewon. "We understand we can never be forgiven. We ask only that you let the innocent live. Our children born after the war have done nothing wrong. They do not deserve to die for our sins." Taewon was very old now, nearly 90 years, but he still served as ambassador. He read her message carefully. Then he wrote his response. "Your young are innocent," he wrote. "I believe that. But they carry your genes, your instincts, your nature. In 200 years, they will become the swarm again. My grandchildren will have to fight them. I will not burden future generations with my mercy. I am sorry, but you all must die." When Crix read this, she wept. She understood. There would be no mercy. Not ever. Captain Young-ho commanded a hunter-killer ship. He had been hunting for 10 years without rest. His crew rotated every 2 years to prevent them from breaking mentally. But he never left. This was his life now. He found a large Krillian settlement, 50,000 of them living on an old space station. They were protected by the Valerian Concord, a species that believed in helping refugees request permission to attack. Young-ho sent to command, Director Kyung-soo received the request. This was a difficult decision. Attacking would mean fighting the Valerians. It could start a new war. He needed to think carefully. On Earth, something strange was happening. The younger generation, people born after the massacres, were asking questions. Did the genocide need to continue? Could they not show mercy now? A poll showed that 23% of humans now supported a negotiated peace. It was still a small number, but it was growing. The government had to address it. Dr. Bora, now 83 years old, gave an interview. She had helped plan the war. She had developed some of the weapons. She spoke with a shaky voice but firm words. "I know people think we are monsters," she said. "Perhaps we are. But I remember what the Krillians were when they were strong. I remember what they did when they had power. Mercy now is cruelty to our children. If we let them survive, they will grow strong again. And in 200 years, other humans will die because we were too soft." Her interview went viral. Support for peace dropped back to 15%. Most humans still believe the war must continue. Agent Hae-won received orders to infiltrate the large Krillian settlement. She posed as a refugee worker and gained entry. What she found surprised her. The Krillians there were different. They taught their young about individual rights, about valuing life, about never harming others. They had changed their entire culture. They were trying to become a new species. Hae-won sent this information back to Director Kyung-soo. She was not sure if it would help them or doom them. But she reported what she saw. Kyung-soo read her report 3 times. Then he called a meeting with the human leadership. They debated for days. Could Krillians really change? Or was this just a survival trick? Would they revert to their old ways if given the chance? Finally, Kyung-soo made his decision. "We give them one chance," he said. "One generation to prove they are different, but we watch them. Every moment of every day. If they show any sign of reverting, we eliminate them immediately." He sent orders to Captain Young-ho. "Stand down. Do not attack. Maintain observation. Report any suspicious activity." Young-ho was not happy. He had hunted for 10 years. He wanted to finish this. But he followed orders. His ship took position near the station, watching, waiting. The Krillians on the station did not know how close they had come to death. They continued their peaceful lives. They raised their children. They worked. They hoped for a future, but always in the darkness of space, human ships watched. Human sensors listened. Human weapons waited. The Krillians were on trial. They just did not know it. 20-5 years passed. The Krillians on the station remained peaceful. They raised 3 generations. Children who knew nothing of conquest. Children who feared violence. Children who valued peace. Captain Young-ho had retired. His replacement, Captain Dahl, continued the watch. He reported every month. No signs of aggression. No weapons development. No hostile intent. Director Kyung-soo, also old now, read the reports. He wondered if they had truly changed, or if they were just waiting. "Playing a long game? We must never stop watching," he told his successor. "Not in our lifetime. Not in our children's lifetime. Maybe never. The price of peace is eternal vigilance." The counter on human military displays had not changed in 25 years. It still read, "Krillian hive worlds remaining. 1. 1 world. 1 station. 50,000 Krillians. All that remained of a species that once numbered in the trillions. And even they lived only because humanity allowed it. For now." 50 years had passed since the council vote. The galaxy had changed. The Krillians were gone as a power. Only 1 small station remained. But something else had changed too. Humanity President Jae-ho led the Terran coalition. She was the granddaughter of a new soul survivor. She had grown up hearing stories of the massacres, but she also saw what humanity had become: strong, feared, alone. The Galactic Council faced a new crisis. The Mordock hegemony was expanding violently. They attacked peaceful species. They took worlds by force. Many species asked humanity for help. President HFY refused every request. "You voted to let us die," she said. "When we needed help, you abandoned us. Now solve your own problems." We learned that lesson well. Counselor Eller was very old now. Nearly 600 years, he had seen everything. He knew something had to change or the galaxy would tear itself apart. He proposed a new agreement: the Covenant of Species. Every member would defend every other member. Any attack on one would be treated as an attack on all. But humanity would enforce it. In exchange, humans would agree to limits on their military growth. "You want us to be the galaxy's police?" HFY asked. "Why would we agree to that?" "Because you cannot survive alone forever," Eller said. "Right now, the galaxy fears you. But fear turns to hate. Hate turns to war. One day, all the species will unite against you. Not because you are evil, but because you are too strong. This covenant gives you allies. It gives you legitimacy." Single quotes. HFY thought about this. It made sense. But she had to convince her people. Professor Minji was a young historian. She studied the war and its aftermath. She published a controversial paper, "The Predator's Gaze: How Humanity's Victimhood Became Its Justification for Tyranny." In it, she argued that humans had used their trauma to justify building an empire of fear. They were no longer victims. They were now the bullies, the ones everyone else feared. Many humans hated her paper. They called her a traitor. But others agreed. A debate began. What did humanity want to be? Victims who fought back, or something better? Observer Ben was stationed at the Krillian settlement. He had been there for 5 years. His job was to watch them. Report anything suspicious. Be ready to destroy them if ordered. But something unexpected happened. He became friends with some of them. Not close friends. He could never forget what their ancestors did. But he saw them as people. Individuals who were trying to be better. One day, his sensors detected something strange. The Krillians were building something. His orders were clear. Any suspicious activity must be reported immediately, but been investigated first. He found they were building a memorial, a monument to all the victims of the war, human and Krillian. It showed figures of both species together, grieving. He sent this in his report. It shocked many people. The Krillians were mourning too, mourning what their species had become, what they had lost. Then something changed everything. The Krillians developed a new queen mind. But this one was different. She did not control drones. She coordinated volunteers. Each Krillian kept their own mind, their own will. This queen mind called herself Seeker. She asked for a meeting with President HFY. The request was denied 3 times. Finally, HFY agreed. But only if it was broadcast to the entire galaxy. Seeker appeared on screen. She looked like other Krillian queen minds, large, insect-like. But her eyes were different. They showed emotion, sadness, hope. "We cannot change what our ancestors did," Seeker said. Her voice was strange but clear. "We cannot bring back the dead. We cannot erase the pain. But we can choose what we become. We have chosen to be different, to value life, to never harm others." She paused. "You evolved beyond your violent past. Your species fought terrible wars. You almost destroyed yourselves. But you chose to be better. Grant us the same chance. Let us prove we can change." President HFY listened. The whole galaxy watched. This was the moment that would define everything. "I have heard your words," HFY said. "But words are easy. My decision must consider the safety of future generations. Give me time to think." She consulted everyone. Military leaders, scientists, survivors of the massacres. The debates went on for months. Finally, She made her choice. She spoke to the human parliament. The speech was broadcast everywhere. Our ancestors fought to survive. We honor them by surviving. But if all we do is survive, if all we become is the species that never forgives, then the Krillians killed us anyway. They just did it slowly. They turned us into monsters too. She took a deep breath. I am signing the Covenant of Species. We will defend the galaxy. But we will also accept limits on our power, and we will give the Krillian remnant provisional membership. Under permanent observation, if they remain peaceful, they live. If they do not, we will finish what we started. The vote passed. Barely. Many humans were angry. They felt betrayed, but the decision was made. The hunter-killer fleets were officially decommissioned. The ships were placed in storage. But everyone knew they could be reactivated in hours if needed. Humanity would never truly disarm. Observer Bin was promoted to ambassador to the Krillian remnant. His first official act was to help finish their memorial. Humans and Krillians worked together on it. It felt strange. Wrong in some ways, but also necessary. Then the Mordock hegemony tested humanity's resolve. They attacked a council world. They thought humans were weak now, peaceful. They were wrong, General Hanwell, now 97 years old, oversaw the response. She could barely walk, but her mind was sharp. She planned the operation personally. The human fleet engaged the Mordock. The battle lasted for hours. The Mordock fleet was annihilated. Every ship destroyed. The survivors received a message. We gave the Krillians one warning. We are giving you none. Attack the council again, and we will hunt you like we hunted them. We can be merciful, but only to those who deserve it. You do not. The Mordock hegemony surrendered within a week. They offered everything: territory, resources, hostages, anything to avoid. Humanity's wrath. The galaxy learned 2 lessons that day. First, humanity could be merciful. The Krillians proved that. Second, you had to earn that mercy. And even then, humanity never fully trusted. Never fully forgot. Never fully disarmed. 200 years later, the Covenant of Species had maintained peace across 400 worlds. The Krillian remnant had grown to 50 million. They became the galaxy's strongest advocates for peace. They remembered what happened when diplomacy failed. On Earth, a museum showed humanity's journey. From victim to avenger to guardian. The final exhibit displayed the counter that once tracked Krillian hive worlds. It was frozen at 1 with a plaque beneath. We were warned. We did not listen. We learned. May no species ever forget what happens when mercy is met with massacre. Above the counter, another plaque showed Ambassador Tae-Won's original warning. We will hunt you forever, and below it President Jae-Wha's edition. Unless you give us a reason not to, the galaxy had learned what it meant to provoke humanity. More importantly, it learned what it took to earn humanity's protection. The answer to both was the same. Never underestimate a species that refused to die, and always in the dark places of space, human ships still watched. Still waited. Still remembered. Because humanity had learned the hardest lesson of all. Peace is not the absence of war. It is the presence of those willing to fight for it.